Somewhere in this forest right now, the air hangs heavy and still. Not a leaf moves, not a bird calls. The whole world seems to be holding its breath, because deep in the tall, golden grass, something is waking up, something enormous. This is the story of how a life begins, not as a person, not as any ordinary creature, but as one of the most powerful predators ever to walk the earth. Imagine, for a moment, that the wheel of life never stops turning. It has spun for every living thing that has ever drawn breath. The smallest ant beneath a leaf, the largest whale beneath the waves, and everything in between. Tonight, it turns again, and this time, it hasn't chosen you to crawl. It hasn't chosen you to swim quietly through some forgotten pond. It has chosen you to become a tiger. Open your eyes. Your new life is about to begin. Welcome to the Animal Sound, where we step into the wild and ask one question. If you were reborn as any creature on this planet, would this life truly be extraordinary? Today, we uncover the secrets of the tiger, the largest of all wild cats, a creature so powerful, so perfectly built, that nature itself seems to have handed it every advantage in the book. Let's find out why. The first thing you notice about your new body is the coat wrapped around it. Bold, blazing orange, cut through with jet black stripes that run from your nose to the very tip of your tail. It looks almost too bright to hide anything, but that's exactly the trick. Here's a secret most people never learn. Those stripes don't stop at the fur. They're burned straight into the skin underneath, like a signature written by nature itself. No two tigers on the entire planet share the same pattern, not one. And in the wild, that pattern becomes a weapon. Step into a field of tall, sun-bleached grass, or slide beneath the broken light under a canopy of trees, and your body seems to dissolve into the landscape. A deer could stare directly at the spot where you're standing and see nothing but wind moving through grass. You are not hiding from the world. You have simply become part of it. As daylight fades and the forest sinks into darkness, most animals grow cautious, nervous, blind. Not you. Behind your eyes sits a hidden mirror, a layer of cells called the tapetum lucidum, and its only job is to catch the faintest scrap of moonlight and fire it back through your eyes a second time. It's why a tiger's eyes seem to glow in torchlight. You're not imagining it. The result is staggering. You can see roughly 6 times better than a human in near total darkness. Shapes sharpen, movement leaps out of the shadows. The twitch of a rabbit's ear 50 feet away, invisible to almost every other creature in the forest, is written clearly across your vision. For you, the night was never something to fear. It was built for you to rule. Now here's a twist almost nobody expects. Nearly every cat on this planet despises water. You don't. Your paws carry a faint webbing between the toes, a small adaptation with a massive payoff, turning each stroke through water into something closer to swimming with built-in paddles. Travel to the Sundarbans, where the great rivers of India and Bangladesh spill into the sea in a maze of mangrove islands, and you'll find tigers doing something almost no other big cat on earth would dare: crossing open water, powering across channels wider than 10 football fields laid end to end, cutting through the current like it's nothing at all. When the heat of the Indian summer presses down hard enough to slow every other predator to a crawl, you don't retreat to the shade. You dive straight into the river and let it carry the heat away. Deep in your throat is a cheat code most creatures never get, a specialized flexible bone that most other cats simply don't have. It's the reason a tiger's roar doesn't sound like a house cat's meow scaled up. It sounds like thunder given a voice. That roar can roll across almost 2 miles of open forest. But it's more than noise. It's a message broadcast across the trees. This ground is claimed. This life is mine. Another tiger, more than a mile off and completely out of sight, hears it and understands every word without a single glance exchanged. And the roar isn't your only signature. You mark trees with deep claw scratches, taller than any human could reach, and leave your scent behind on bark and stone. To any tiger that passes through later, that mark is a name, a warning, and a story, all left behind, without a single word. Quick pause. Let's see if any of that stuck. True or false? A tiger's stripes exist only in its fur, not its skin. False. The pattern runs all the way down to the skin, unique to every single tiger alive. One more. True or false? Like most cats, tigers avoid water at almost any cost. False again. Tigers are some of the most powerful swimmers in the entire cat family. You're paying attention. Good. Keep going, because the story is about to get harder. Every great story carries a challenge, and even with cheat codes like these, life as a tiger is far from easy. A single tiger needs an enormous stretch of territory to survive, sometimes an area as large as an entire city, filled with enough deer and wild boar to keep it fed through every season. A tiger cub's first 2 years are the hardest of all. Many cubs never make it to adulthood, and the ones that do owe their survival almost entirely to a fiercely protective mother who teaches them to stalk, to swim, and to hunt. But across the last 100 years, the wild spaces tigers depend on have shrunk dramatically. Forests have been cleared. Prey has grown scarce in many regions. Because of this, tigers are now classified as an endangered species, with only a few thousand left living wild across the planet, scattered from the humid forests of India to the frozen woodlands of Russia's Far East. And yet, this part of the story is not one of defeat. People are fighting for tigers. Protected reserves across India have helped wild populations climb back from the edge. In Nepal, dedicated conservation work has helped the wild tiger population grow dramatically in recent years. Even the most powerful predator on land needed help to survive, and the world is slowly giving it. Now for the cheat code that makes every other predator in the forest think twice. Raw, overwhelming power. An adult tiger can weigh anywhere from 200 pounds to well over 500 pounds, depending on where in the world it calls home. The largest Siberian tigers rank among the biggest cats to have ever existed. Picture this. You are lying motionless in the grass, utterly invisible, utterly silent, watching a herd of deer graze 50 feet away. You don't rush. You don't make a sound. You wait. Muscles coiled like springs, until the exact right instant. Then, you explode forward. Your back legs, built like loaded catapults, launch you up to 16 feet in a single leap, roughly the length of a small car, covered in one single bound. Your paws, each the size of a dinner plate, land in near total silence. And your bite, among the most powerful of any big cat on Earth, can end a hunt in seconds. This is not chaos. It is precision, discipline, and power, all fused into one perfect predator. Step back now, and look at the whole picture of the life you were given. A coat that erases you into grass and shadow. Eyes that turn moonlight into daylight. A body built to cross rivers other cats fear to enter. A roar that can be heard for almost 2 miles, and a signature on every tree you pass. A frame built for stillness, and for explosive, unstoppable power. Yes, the world you were born into is not without its dangers. Space is limited. Survival is never guaranteed, but that has always been true of every legendary story ever told. It is the hard parts that give the strength its meaning. Out of every creature that wheel could have landed on, from the smallest ant to the largest whale, it chose to give you this: the stripes, the silence, the roar, the power. Out of every creature that wheel could have landed on, from the smallest ant to the largest whale, it chose to give you this: the stripes, the silence, the roar, the power. If this episode changed the way you look at tigers, hit that subscribe button, because the wheel spins again every single week, right here on The Animal Sound. Tell us in the comments, if the wheel turned for you tonight, which animal would you want it to choose? And next time, we're spinning it again, toward a creature that can freeze solid through an entire winter, stop its own heart completely, and then thaw out again in spring, like nothing ever happened. You will not want to miss that one. Thanks for watching The Animal Sound. See you in the next life.
Bring me into golden sunlight.